Well, hello, welcome back. Hey, I'm so glad you're still with us and joining us for the whole day. We got a full day here. A lot of fun guests coming in, and right now we have a little change in our schedule, but you guys didn't actually get the schedule, so you don't know what the schedule is, but we changed it up just a little bit. Lisa's on her way. I think she ran out of gas on the way here or something. I sort of vaguely got the message, but she'll be here real soon. And right now we have Jeanette Joy Fisher, now Jeanette Joy Young, recently married. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm so excited for you.
Right.
Tell us how that happened. In 2014, you got married.
I did.
That's awesome.
Last January, I was with my friends, and we were having a mini mastermind, and we were talking about our goals for 2014. And as you know, I have the 8 elements of your being that I do in one of my programs, and it's about balancing. And so I decided that my life was not going to be right until I did something about my love relationship, because I was single and not happy about that. I was tired of being a widow. And so in the mastermind meeting, I talked about what I wanted to find in the way of a husband. And you know how people make lists when they're looking for the perfect partner, and you make all this list of everything you want? Well, take that list and take it from here and put it to here, because I didn't even know what to ask for, but I got so much more. And I met Ned March 18th, and we spent the romantic spring and a lot of vacation travel during the summer. We went on 3 honeymoons, he said, so it was time to get married.
3 honeymoons.
Right,
Okay.
during the summer.
Do you need to explain?
No. Well, it's just we had really fantastic travel time. And it was like we had been on 3 honeymoons, and we're still going on another one next month. So we got married November 10th. And I actually knew him a little bit longer than I knew my first husband, who passed away before we got married. So people who say you can't get married after 5 months, or 8 months in this case, just don't know what they're talking about. You have to have faith.
You're living proof.
I'm living proof.
You're living proof.
Yes, I'm proof that you can get married as a teenager, have a bunch of kids, and still have a happy life. And then went through the really hard times of losing my daughter and my husband. And so I would like to talk about the 8 elements of your being, because this is what helped me, and I think this could really help people prepare for 2015. I know this is supposed to be about profit, but I really believe that you cannot be financially stable until you are happy.
Very true.
And the 8 elements of your being is like, if you take a line and you draw a line and then you cut it in half and then you dissect it and you make 8 spokes, like on a bicycle wheel. Well, imagine that one spoke is too short. What's going to happen? The bicycle's going to go crazy. And that's really where I was in 2013.
So it's just that one piece that was missing for you?
Yeah, for me.
Or the big part?
The big part. I did not, So what you have is your love line is, you have yourself, your relationship, your significant other on one side of the spoke, and then you have your family and your friends on the other side. So you need it to be balanced. It can't be all about your family and friends, or you'd be like, off. So the other parts of this.
Too many of us are like that.
Yeah. Well, I think you got to start really with your spiritual side, your spirituality, and make sure that you're always growing and learning about whatever you believe about God or your source or whatever. I think that you really need to keep your spiritual side healthy. And to balance that out is your charity. So what you're giving back, not necessarily that you're going out and just making all this money to give it away to charity. That's not what I mean. You need to be charitable to people and help people and think about people and share what you know with love. And it doesn't have to be always financial giving, because people talk about tithing and have to get that 10%. Well, sometimes you can give 20% or 50%, and other times you can just give what you know. Or a piece of pie.
Yeah, I think that was Terry Levine who talks about that in terms of being successful. And she always says that you got to find a cause that's bigger than yourself. You'll work harder for that than you ever will for yourself. And I find that to be absolutely true.
Yeah.
So, can you expand a little bit? You want to tell us a little bit more about, because that's a success secret that a lot of people need to hear.
Okay, well, so you have
since you're the expert on this.
Okay, spirituality balanced by charity. Then you have your love line. And then the next line you have is your financial life. You have your lifetime learning. We went to college. We think, oh, we know it all. We don't need to go back. But my gosh, look at how the world's changed in the last 5 years. You have to be constantly learning. And now I know I have to learn about Google+. Thank you very much, Laura. I was really happy with Twitter and Facebook.
You were happy with just those two.
But I'm like you. When I go to Google+, there's just like, what? There's nothing here.
There's nothing going on. But she brought up a good point about looking at it differently, and I think that's really where
I know. So now I have
different
to
hat.
add something else onto my busy enough life.
Exactly.
But anyway, so we have our lifetime learning and then our profession or our financial flow. So you have to have that be kind of consistent and equal and level, along with your love line and your spiritual line, and then your final line. And this is where I differ from so many other speakers about happiness and everything, is because you have to have your health. And this is your environment line. You have your health. If you don't have your health, then what happens? You can't do anything. And balancing out your health is your environment. 2 is your home. And this is my big thing. Joy to the Home has been my company since, I don't know, 1985, I think.
Just a few years.
Yeah, just a few years. But I started studying design psychology back in 1986. And I just absolutely feel that people need to have a home to support their emotional well-being. And it can't just be a big fancy home. It can be also a tiny home. Have you seen that show on TV about the people looking for tiny homes?
Tiny homes? No, I have not seen
Tiny house. Tiny house, the tiny house. But it has to be designed to support your emotional well-being. And everybody talks about color psychology. I taught a whole class on color psychology, but when I researched all the elements of interior design backwards, I found that lighting is really more important than color for your happiness. Like when you come home from work and you're tired and the sun's going down most of the time, you want to brighten up your rooms and turn on extra light because you want to extend the daylight. However, most people, they turn on all the lights and then they get ready for bed later and they turn off all the lights, but they never have the calming down where they go and they set the candles and they turn the lights down. I think almost every light needs to be on a dimmer because we have these needs about lighting, and if you don't understand lighting, you don't get it right. And you're not totally happy.
Well, it's about bringing your energy down too, and letting your body know, hey, it's time to go to sleep. It's time to get into this restful space. And so many of us just don't do that. We just don't do it often enough. Or worse, we're sitting on the computer till 2 seconds before the iPad is on. They're just, okay, we're going to try to go to sleep now, and you find you can't sleep for some reason, and the body's just not been brought down to that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this idea of the home base being so important, because for me, it's always been that. Is if I don't have a solid, stable home base, I have a hard time getting out in business and doing what I need to do.
Mm-hmm. Well, if people kind of get confused with design psychology and feng shui. They might, in fact, I've seen where people are talking about design psychology as feng shui, and it's really not the same thing at all. Feng Shui has a lot of interesting parts to it, but it's really an old-fashioned kind of superstitious way of decorating, I think. I'm sorry. I've had people really get mad at me about this. But I studied...
What do you mean by superstitious? That's it. I've never heard Feng Shui and superstition in the same...
Well, they have a lot of beliefs about things that you can and you can't do based on the past ideas. I'm not sure where I'm not really an expert on Feng Shui. I did study it years ago and I looked into it and I thought, okay, well, I'm going to just not think about that, and I'm going to research how our interior design, like colors, patterns, textures, lighting, and the shape and form of furnishings and things. How does our body react? So I studied the physiological response to colors and lighting. And our brain responds, our pituitary gland releases a certain amount of hormones according to colors. And so it's a bodily response. It's not just superstition or whatever. Right. Anyway, but then... So
it's measurable. It goes into the scientific realm is what you're saying.
Right. Okay, yeah. So it's science. You can measure the psychology and our sociological response to things like some people believe you have to get married in white, and other cultures get married in red. I haven't seen anybody get married in black, but you never know. I mean, it's a formal color.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, I know.
I haven't personally seen it, but I've heard of it.
So we have our our background, our sociology, our home, and everything. But it doesn't have to be so much about our past life as building for the future. I mean, there's some people who really want to have their home be like the house they grew up in, and that's kind of not my thing at all. I want to go back to Anaheim and go back to that little house my parents had. I like being in a larger home, and I like new things, and I like new technology, so I think it's always building.
So let's talk about that, because there are a lot of people on here who are looking for, what am I going to do in 2015 to improve my situation, right? So if it's financial, it's whatever. But what you're saying is making a lot of sense to me, because it has been such a powerful tool for me to know that if the home situation is comfortable, if it's stable, if it's quiet, then I can go out in the business world and be very successful. So we have people out here who can't buy the $1 million home, who can't upgrade their house. Can you give us some tips, some ideas of what people could do to sort of make it a little bit more homey, a little bit more comfortable for them as they go through?
I think that everybody has too much stuff. We went through a nesting thing when we were, I'm talking about people my age. When you have children, little kids, you just like gathering and you're getting all this stuff. And so as you grow older and your children leave, almost, not all of mine are out yet, but they're working on it. We have just so many things, and you have to draw the line and say, is this thing taking care of me, or am I going to have to take care of this? So, other than saying, is this beautiful, is it useful, say, is this going to take care of me? Is it going to take care of my emotional state? If it's, something that is passed down after generation, can you give it to your granddaughter? Or can you, do you need to keep it still?
Right.
Because I have lots of things that I've been trying to decide what to keep and what not to keep. I'm very fortunate. My home is really very large, but I did come from a 6,800 square foot house, so I had more stuff. But I'm very lucky that I do have two houses with no payments, and so it's like that's why when I was looking at this 2014, what do I need to make my life better? I decided I needed to have a husband, and so I put my effort into that, and that worked out really well. Well, next year I'm downsizing. We're selling our 3 houses, and we're going to get 1 house and not have it be so much to take care of, but it's going to be elegant and lovely. And while we were
that's a lesson I learned from this studio.
Yeah.
You see a lot of stuff in here. There's a lot of equipment, and the acquiring of the equipment's the easy part. It's the maintaining of it that really where the work is, and it's the same thing at home. You're just acquire, and you've got food processors and stuff you haven't used in years. Why are they still there? Why are they still taking up all that space?
Right. I know. I think I probably have 8 sets of china because I came from a big home where we had different sets. And so now I put some in my mountain home and some at my home, and now it's got to decide what to do with these others. But I saw the people moving into the tiny home, and there was a family who have 4 children, and they had this big 2,800 square foot house, and so they were on this TV show, The Tiny House, and they were moving into a house that was like 600 square feet, and I was like, that's a little bit too small. Where are they going to put their clothes? I mean, let's face it, we need closets, and we don't need these little tiny closets anymore. We have lots of clothes. Maybe we don't need as many as we have, but we need closets. So there's got to be a balance, and you have to really figure out what it is you need. But a lot of people who come to me, I've been selling real estate since 1974, off and on, and people who come to me, they say, okay, well, how much of a house can I get? And I go, well, it's not how much you can afford to buy. It's really, let's see what you really need, because I talk people into buying a house for less than what they normally would pay if they were going through another agent, because I don't want anybody to be stressed about house payments. I've lost houses. And it's no fun to lose your house.
No, not at all.
And so that's really why I don't like having house payments. When my first husband passed away, it was just like a tumbling of like losing everything, and so I had to start over. And so I really think that people need to be like the millionaire next door and not buy the most expensive house they can. But on the other hand, I have a way for people to buy a more expensive house than they ever dreamed of. How would you like to buy a house that you could never afford to rent? Okay, and that's for our entrepreneurs who want a venue. Because my home that I'm selling for $1 million is for sale, and it has 8 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms and 3 kitchens and the most beautiful pool in the world. I have to rebuild that, by the way. I have to recreate that pool someplace else. But anyway, I don't
But
need...
that one is beautiful. You're right.
Yeah.
I see the pictures you post on Facebook all the time. That pool is just exceptional.
Yeah. But the idea is that if you don't have a bunch of children move in with you, and you have all these rooms, then you can do events, which I used to do in my other home. And I have done some events in the house that I have now. But entrepreneurs love to be able to do mini events in their home. And if you can sell an event and raise a few $1,000s every month without worrying about a venue, that's your house payment. You know? And you get to live in a really nice place. So that's what I'm all excited about. So besides selling...
I saw Marshall Silver's house in Las Vegas. We had an event there. He rented out the house to one of my speaker friends. And yeah, we spent the whole weekend in his house. And it was just adorned with all the circus stuff. And it was really weird and everything. But it's Marshall Silver, right?
Yeah,
so it's going to be a little bit different.
I know Marshall.
But yeah, you can see how that would make sense for him, because he probably made off of that one event enough to pay that mortgage for that month for that house.
Well, I've had weddings at my home. And I know a lady in my area. We live in
You're a minister too. You could actually do the weddings.
I
Right?
know,
You could officiate.
yes. But weddings can bring in a lot of money. I have a friend who does weddings, and she also had the food bloggers come to her home, and her house sleeps, I'm thinking maybe around 20. But what they do is they put bunk beds in, and then they put beds in place, alcoves and whatever. You know the bed that's at my house that people like to sleep in the most? It's outside by the pool. It's an outside double bed.
Oh,
and
wow.
that's what people say. I want that bed. But I put it out there for naps. And I was like, all of a sudden now I found
We'll
people
call
want
that
to
the
sleep.
9th room. That's the 9th bedroom right there. Right? Let's get you a little closer to the mic so the audio is just a little low for you.
All right.
Yeah.
Where was I?
We were talking about venue real estate. This is a new area that you're looking at going into.
Right.
And I like the idea, the concept of being in a house where you're actually not necessarily paying for the mortgage out of your own money out of pocket.
That's right.
Yeah. It's a brilliant idea.
So,
Tell us more.
Okay. Well, I've been looking at venues, and so you can buy a vineyard from me, or you can buy a venue, or you can buy a little modest house, whatever you need. I'm really all about making people happy, and I don't care about the price of the house that people buy as much as making them happy. But the venues, you can find a venue as long as it sleeps enough people. You can for $350,000 up in the mountains, or even less. I have a cabin, 4 bedrooms, sleeps 10, and has a little writer's hideaway in the backyard.
Oh, wow.
It's 3 stories, and it's in Lake Arrowhead, which has golf course and the lake rights. And it's a house that I bought last year as a foreclosure, so next January 17th, I've had it for a year, and I'll be able to sell it and make a profit. And so I'll pass along some of the savings on that because I got it for such a good deal. And it's like $250,000. So you can buy a venue and have it pay for itself, a mountain cabin, and use it for whatever. Writer's Hideaway, it has a flat backyard, so my daughters use it for yoga. I have 2 daughters who went to college, have master's degrees, but you know what they do? They teach yoga. And they have little events, and they have like 8 women come, and they have a lot of fun, and they charge, and they make money, and so there's a lot of different things. A lot of people may not even know what they want to do as a venue, but whatever it is that you're doing that you're successful at, that's what you should be sharing and teaching. What would you do with a venue?
I would do more of this.
More of this.
More of these kind of events. I actually, this is why I have the studio, is to be able to do this. But there's no reason this couldn't be at the house.
I have a studio. It just doesn't have all this stuff.
It doesn't have all the junk. Yeah, okay, good. With the adornments,
I have
call it.
a green screen and old-fashioned cameras, and we have a tripod.
No, but this could be done in the home. I just need a 10-foot space with 10-foot ceiling, and you're all set. I mean, technology's there. It's more portable. It's mobile. It's not a big deal to move it from one location to another. So yeah, it could work. They don't necessarily need them to sleep over since they're coming in virtually.
Oh, well, there's something to be said about a live event, and things come out, especially in a mastermind situation, because you get that joint feeling and
we're
vibration.
not getting the feedback from the audience. They're watching us now, but there's not much feedback. And you're looking out there, and all you're seeing are these cool
I see
cameras.
Mitch eating a banana.
There, we put Mitch on the air. There's Mitch, and there's Lisa.
So, about design psychology. It's really, really important when somebody buys a house that they don't buy the wrong house. And
Tell us.
Yes. You have to have a house that will make you feel good when you arrive, when you go inside, and the flow has to be right. And that's something that you really only get after you live in a house, or if you know somebody like me who can tell about the flow of a house, because I've been in so many homes. And I can tell you the floor plan, I can draw floor plans of houses that I've sold 20 years ago. I can still draw out the floor plan.
Wow.
And one of the big mistakes people buy is they buy a house that has a road behind it that gets busy over time. And my brother had a house like this in Huntington Beach. And it was a beautiful house in a neighborhood, and it had a block wall. But all of a sudden, this 2-lane highway behind them became 8 lanes. And it was so bad, you could not even sit in the backyard. And, well, here in California, we want to be outside all the time. The doors
we got
open.
the weather, yeah. And we pay the taxes, the sunshine tax here for it, so...
Oh, no. We pay very low taxes.
Low taxes?
Yes, it's only 1% or something.
1% of the sales price, right? The purchase price, I should say.
1.2%.
Yeah.
It's very low. Where else can you buy $1 million house and have taxes of $10,000?
$10,000 a year, yeah.
I mean, really.
And they don't change.
They go up a little bit, but not a whole lot, thanks to Prop 13. Please don't let anybody take Prop 13 away, or I'm going to have to join my friends living in Singapore.
That's right.
But design psychology can help people pick out the right house, but it also can change the colors and the patterns and textures and everything. And one thing I really like using, and I put in my studio, is linoleum, because it's quiet. It's the most quiet floor you can get.
Yep.
And dogs can't ruin it like they do the wood floors and everything. One thing I've learned about my house that I'm in now is it's a very European type home, and it was built, and it was a foreclosure, built in 2010 or 8, and I bought it in 2010. But all the rooms, everything, the ceilings and the walls are all painted a wheat butter gold color. I have found that living in a home with every wall painted the same color is really harmonious. And I never knew that, because I would always paint my bedrooms like this rouge red, because rouge red bedrooms, main bedrooms, are really sexy, and at night they're very romantic, but during the day you open up the curtains and it's like a cup of coffee wakes you up. But I never did paint this bedroom in my new house red. And it's the first time I have not had a red bedroom in years and years. But I really enjoy having the same color throughout the whole home. Yeah, and that's...
Let's talk a little bit about the psychology, because I think a lot of people, there's some people out there who are thinking, hey, 2015, I'm going to go buy a new home. What should they be thinking about? They should be looking first at lifestyle. They should be looking at location.
Don't move away from your family. Move back to your family. My daughter moved away to Minnesota. It's cold there. And I miss my grandkids so much. So really think about that before you move away. Think about where you want to live, why you want to live there. Think about the right house in the right neighborhood for the next 5 years, 10 years. Everybody thinks when they buy a home, they're going to stay in that home forever. And I always treat a brand new home like that. And I go and I plant trees, and I love my trees. Boy, you should go see the house I lived in before the house, my last house before this house. Oh, the pepper trees are just magnificent now. Well, I didn't get to see them grow up as the way they are right now, but at least I got to plant them. And where I am today, we planted fruit trees. And I'm thinking, oh, do I really want to sell my house and not ever get to have those avocados? So you've got to really kind of think, every house is going to be for sale.
At some point.
At some point, yeah. You're not going to stay in the house as long as you think you're going to. So think about the resale. And that's not something that people don't want to think about when they're buying a house. They want to buy the most house that they can, usually. And realtors are really good about getting you the most house that you can afford.
Bigger commission for them,
Right.
they'll take it, right?
Think about scaling down and not taking so much with you. But also, I would look for closet space. And windows and views, and don't look out over your neighbor's bathroom. When you open up your bathroom window, what do you see? Open up your bedroom window, you don't want to be looking into the neighbor's.
No, you probably don't want to be seeing their bathroom. What's going on?
I was in a house once where I was showing it, and you open up the bedroom curtains, and you're looking right into the neighbor's bathroom. Because they have like 6 feet, between the two houses.
Can I borrow some sugar?
And also think about hidden costs, because you have things like, where were we? We're looking at houses in Bear Creek. Now, I love Bear Creek. It's an area near us. It's a golf course, and it has the guarded gate and everything. But your association dues with the golf course are like $650 a month. So you got to be prepared to pay that. And they say, well, you have your maintenance costs. Well, wait a minute. Back up a minute. How much do you really spend on maintaining a house a year? Is it going to be $6,000 or $3,000? So sometimes the maintenance on an association can be a little bit higher than you really feel that you would really need to pay. Another thing is that if you don't have sewers and city water, you can save a lot of money sometimes, and other times the local utilities don't cost too much. In Lake Arrowhead, I can tell you that the water and sewer cost you whether or not you're using it. We don't use our house every month,
right.
And it's still $150 a month. But my house, my big house with all the bedrooms and all the bathrooms, I don't ever pay for the sewer because I have septic and I've never had a problem with it, ever. And my last house had that, and septic is kind of not such a bad deal. So you have to think about a lot of different things. A lot of people are really prejudiced about septic systems, and they don't like that. They don't like wells, and they're afraid. So I guess what I'm trying to say is don't base your choice on housing on fear.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
It's a good point. Or fear, or the other side is greed, where they just want to get more house and bigger and bigger and bigger. And
right.
Because the real estate agent will sort of egg that on if they sense that in you, right?
Well, it is really nice to have an expensive house. I mean, I've had much more expensive houses than the one I'm in now. And they kind of, when you get the real expensive house like in Newport Beach, then you have to have the housekeeper 5 days a week, and you have to have your kids go to the private schools, and the kids have to wear these certain kind of shorts. And everything becomes more expensive. I really like the Temecula area because it's not quite so Orange County in its values. But I can see the advantages of living in Orange County. I grew up there, and of course, when I was a teenager, I had to have a chart for my shoes because I couldn't wear the same shoes the same week. It's like we had to keep track of what we wore to school. I'm talking about Anaheim, baby. I mean, that was ridiculous.
Wow.
But besides home buyers, I also help home sellers. If you're selling a house, you need to stage it. You don't need to hire a home stager to bring in things if you already have things, but you still need to stage your house. And most investors think that they have to stage a house to resell it, and they bring in a lot of furniture that they don't need. But there are some things that you do need when you're selling a house. The number one thing you need in a house is lighting. The lighting has to be right, and people should go see the house at night. That's another tip I have for home buyers. They'll go look at the house at night and see how it makes you feel.
Look at the house at night. I would have never considered that. Because you want to look at the outside, you want to look at the pool, you want to see if there's cracks in the foundation and stuff like that. But yeah, you're right. You want the feeling of the house first before you worry about the technical side.
You see it both at day and at night. Don't
Right.
buy it without going to see it at night.
But start there, though. You said start.
Well, you can start there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To see how it makes you feel, and then you can look through the other stuff.
Look at the house.
afterwards.
Yeah. You have to look at it both in all kinds of lighting.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So 2014 has been a big year for you.
It's been a lot of fun.
Really big. And I saw in a recent post of yours, forgive me for bringing up your Facebook posts and Twitter posts. But
That's okay.
You said 2015 is going to be even bigger for you. I want to know, what do you got planned?
Well, I'm reviving Joy to the Home, Realty and Design, and I'm opening up. I'm working with Gold Shield Realty in Murrieta because things have changed since I've been out of real estate for the last. I bought a lot of houses and sold some in the last 10 years, but I haven't been selling other people's houses. So I'm working with a really cool broker, Massimo Spadazzi. He's really fun. And he's going to help me with things that are current, as far as current laws and everything, so I don't get myself in trouble. And then I'm going to branch out, and I'm opening up an office with my son in Austin, Joy to the Home, and one with my my niece. Why do I always call her my cousin? Because she's more like my age of a cousin, I think. Anyway, in Reno.
Oh, nice.
And
so you're going to have all these real estate offices
the
opened in
plan
2015?
Is to open up and expand Joy to the Home, and I want to go nationwide, and I'm looking for brokers who want to do the design psychology part of selling.
And right now on the screen, people can see your at Jeanette Joy.
At Jeanette Joy on Twitter.
So that's an easy way to reach you and find you. If you are feeling like you want to be a broker this year, that might be a good thing for you to have a look at.
I have a couple of things, too, that I want to give people so that they can get a really good start on 2015.
Let's do it. Let's talk to them. We have roughly 20 minutes.
Okay. Well, I want to give them a report about the 8 elements of your being so that they can do their own balancing, and that's in my book, How to Have Better Sex, Lose Weight, Make Millions, and Eat Chocolate.com. This is one of my few books. But anyway, there's a part in here about the 8 elements of your being, and I will give that to anybody who emails me, Jeanette at joytothehome.com.
Okay.
And I'm going to be doing free credit classes.
Ooh.
In Murrieta. Maybe I need to have you guys figure out how to broadcast them so they can be live.
That might be fun, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to be doing credit help, get the credit you need to buy real estate. This book I'm sending it to an expert on the modern laws, so an attorney. You can't have this book because I might get in trouble if I give this out, because now I can't say some of the things I said in 2005 to my buyers. And then we're going to be having fixing classes on how to fix and flip houses. So I'm going to be doing. This is a book I wrote when my family was on Flip That House.
Show it to them.
Flip That House, the TV show.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be doing some of the things like art treatment, faux art treatment, and things like that in the houses that we're working on, and we're going to be inviting people to come in and see it. And so that's some of the things.
That's a book that's out now. That's published.
Yeah, Flip That House with Faux. FlipThatHouseWithFaux.com.
Okay.
And I have lots of books. So a lot of my books are sold out, and you can buy them on Amazon for I saw one for $350, but wait, next year I'm going to republish them. Because they were all
I love how that happens. A lot of my old products are like that too. It's like $2,000. Man, I never got that for that. Well, it's a CD.
I have some of these books. These are the home staging for top dollar sales planners. But there was a book, Home Staging with Design Psychology, that went with this. And so if you want to sell your house, you can get a copy of this, or you actually get a copy of your house, though, a plan from me about how to specifically stage your own home with what you have.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I have the workshops.
I think that would be very valuable coming from someone like you with so much experience. So if 2015 is your year, you're selling your house, this is the lady you need to be talking to.
And then if you want to buy fix and flips, we're doing Doghouse to Dollhouse for dollars classes.
Doghouse for dollars?
Doghouse to Dollhouse for dollars.
Oh, Doghouse to Dollhouse. Okay.
Yeah, like how to turn yucks into bucks.
Oh, I like that.
Anyway, we're doing a lot of classes in Murrieta at my real estate office. We're going to be doing some things at my home, my venue home, and some things up at my cabin, unless I sell it too fast.
Well, you can't sell it. Well, January's coming right around the corner anyway, so it's coming pretty quickly.
So just email me, Jeanette at joytothehome.com, like joy to the world, joy to the home, and tell me what you're interested in, and I will fill things.
Or you can just watch you on Twitter here, Jeanette Joy on Twitter. You can
Yeah.
direct message you because you do use Twitter a little bit.
I don't use the direct messages because it's all full of spam. But
Oh,
you
okay.
can also contact me on Facebook because I allow everybody to email me on Facebook. I don't like to be a snob.
Have you reached your 5,000 friend limit
Oh,
on
yeah.
Facebook? A long time ago,
A
right?
long time
right?
ago. Yeah. Sometimes I go in and I clean it out so I can have my new friends come on and be my friends too.
Get rid of the old ones.
You've
You've been a friend too long. Goodbye.
No, there's a lot of people who have quit Facebook. And you go through and you see they have a blank photograph where their photograph should be, and you go and you look and they're deleted, but Facebook keeps them in your friend account.
It's got to be an app for that. There's got to be an app.
If somebody please call me and tell me, is there an app that cleans out Facebook? I don't know of one. And it's like really a pain to go through there. And you can't really have an assistant do it because they don't know who you really know.
They don't know.
You know?
It's true.
And it's like something you go through. And Facebook kind of is aggravating me anyway because they don't even show me my husband's posts. So come on. You know, it's like they're not showing you what you sign up to see. They're showing you what they want you to see.
That means you're not liking your husband's posts enough, apparently. That's what they're telling
I like
us.
everyone I see.
No. I just don't get to see them
I
all.
have to go to his timeline to see his posts. And I also have to go to some of my friends' timelines to see their posts. And other people's posts come up because Facebook has some kind of thing in there where these people come up all the time. And even if I take them out and don't follow, I uncheck notifications, I still get them. Isn't that
Interesting.
weird?
Yeah. Well, it's an emerging technology. It's certainly not stabilized or standardized at this point. I think we're experiencing a lot of the growth of this system.
I am so grateful for Twitter, though. I have to say, thank you, Twitter. I have met the most amazing, incredible people. And I think partly
You've traveled the world because of Twitter.
I have, from Australia to Turkey to the Caribbean, like 12 times. Because of tweets. In fact, I'm going back on the Marketers Cruise next month because of a tweet a few years ago from Donna Fox.
Wow.
Yeah. And I have to say, I went to see Jane Brannigan in Cheyenne, Wyoming at her bed and breakfast because I met her on Twitter. And she's just the most lovely woman, and it's just great. And I also met our little group, Lori Moreno, and Jane Mead, and Dr. Mary Kay Evans.
So would you recommend Twitter as something somebody should invest time in, even at this point where it's gotten busier? Like you said, a lot of direct messages are just spammy.
Well, if you're just starting out on Twitter, you can find people that you have things in common with, and you can develop your own little core group. It would be kind of hard to break into some older ones that have been going together since 2007 because we're just kind of set in our ways. Every morning we have our coffee. We talk to the same people, you know?
Right.
But we're also on Facebook, so it's kind of back and forth. I think as much as I don't like social media sometimes because it just takes so much time, it's going to be really hard to get rid of it. And I believe that it's done a lot of good for me. So I can't be really too upset with it as much as I get aggravated with how I'm shown what Facebook wants me to see. At least I'm able to go in there and go look at my friend's timeline and see what I want to see too.
So true.
Yeah.
So true. Well, we got roughly 10 minutes together, and it's going so fast. I just don't know. I want to make this last all day. You know, it's like let's have it until midnight tonight. What do you think?
Where's the Temecula wine?
We wanted the champagne. I forgot to get the champagne. It was on my list, and
Oh, well, I'll go
we were
get
going
me
to have
some
champagne
and bring
toast. There's water for you there if you wanted.
Okay.
So in the last 10 minutes or so that we have together, what I really want to hear from you, because you have a background as a minister, you have a background as a spiritual leader, you have a background in all these different areas, real estate just being sort of the one that's sort of the theme running throughout your life. These people watching today are looking for advice to have a better year going forward, better 2015. So what are some things that come to mind that you could offer them that help them really be more successful in 2015?
I think that when you have dissatisfaction with something, discontent, it's a start to think about, why are you unhappy? What's causing this? So think about these D words. You have your discontent. That brings to mind a desire. And a desire can be fueled by passion and love. And so from the desire, you have to make decisions. And this is where people kind of, sometimes they flounder because they're too afraid to do one thing and they're too scared to go do this other thing. So they don't do anything. They don't make any decisions. So they just kind of are floundering in their discontent. And they're afraid to kind of like make a decision so that they can build towards their desire. But remember, making no decision is the same thing as making a decision, because you're not going to change. And the top of your D words is destiny. So where do you want your destiny to be? So if you make a plan for your life, a lot of us say, well, just go write your obituary, and then you'll know how you want it to turn out. Well, then you can work towards that. Have you done that?
No, I have not done that one.
Yeah. Oh, I'm surprised you haven't written your obituary.
I skipped that exercise. I was out getting a coffee during that one.
Well, I did. And I was like, okay, yeah, now I've got my children. I got my 10 grandchildren. I'm doing really well on my list of things. But I would really like to say on my obituary that I really made a difference on how people lived and how their happiness was improved because of their home life. And that's my real thing, is home as harmony of mind enthroned. When you get your home organized, it has to be beautiful. It can't just be all Spartan, really. It has to have some things in there that make you feel good and feel happy and feel joy. And I think that joy comes from love in action. I think you can create your own joy by concentrating on the love and putting that into action, to go and do something because you feel the love of whatever it is that you want to do. So I think love more would be my motto for
Love more in
2015.
2015. I like that.
Love more.
I could get into that.
Because if you love your clients or your prospects, or you love people, then you're going to be really kind and do a good service for them. So
It's true. It is so true.
and I am so filled with love. I have so many friends that I love so much. It's just amazing.
Oh, and it comes across on your posts on Twitter and your posts on Facebook and how you respond to the posts that we're putting up. I mean, you're always interacting with us, which is so great. Yeah. You're one of the best friends we have out there, which is why I brought you here today to share that, because it's just so great to have you as a friend. And it's just been, I think we met, in 2012? Was it 2012? The end of the year 2012. You met in here, actually, in the studio. We had a little mastermind. Lisa was here. Laura was here. Mitch, I don't know if Mitch was here for that first one, but he came along a little bit later. But yeah, it's sort of like a reunion of all the good people here.
Yeah. Well, and that's because of Ken MacArthur. And I met Ken MacArthur
right?
because of Twitter.
Yep.
In a way.
Tell me how you met Ken on Twitter.
Well, I think somebody told him I was a Twitter expert, and he came to a tweet up that I held in New York, and he came over from Pennsylvania on the train to meet me in New York City.
Oh, wow.
And that was maybe 2008 or 9. It's been a while. And, of course, you know how wonderful Ken is. I think I knew Ken before I met him.
In internet marketing.
Is that what they say? Yeah, I guess maybe he is. He's very kind. But Twitter has taken me around the country a lot, and to Canada. I got to go to Canada because of Twitter and speak at the conference.
So Ken MacArthur introduced, you met Ken MacArthur, and then you met all of us subsequently through that organization, really, because Ken has been putting events on here. I think he's going to be in San Diego next Monday, right, Mitch? Monday he'll be here. So he'll be back. We can go meet him.
Okay.
Go say hi. We'll interrupt his busy day.
Yeah.
So what's going on? What do you want to leave people with? Give them a web address to reach you besides your Twitter account? You have so many. I just want to get it clear because they're trying to write them down.
Well, besides being on Twitter, I would like to say this. If you need help with Twitter, just email me, because I also do a little thing to teach the truth about Twitter.
The truth about Twitter. I like that.
The truth about Twitter.
Yeah.
And I think everybody needs to be on Twitter and social media for their own name and for their business, for reputation management. So if you think that you can do without Twitter, I don't believe that's
You don't
true.
think so?
No, I think you need it. I want to share the 8 elements of your being with everyone, so email me if you're interested in that, and I'll email you a PDF on that. Or I can put it up
As
on
a
my
gift.
Yes, that's free.
Oh, that's awesome.
And anything else that you want more information on, just let me know, because I like to give.
So you're an expert on real estate. You're an expert on Twitter. You're an expert on. It just goes on and on. That's why I love you so much. You do
That's
so
because
much. to
I'm
bring to the
older than
table.
everybody else, so I can be an expert.
You're not that much older than
I
anybody
know.
else. Come on.
I'm even older than my husband.
Robbing the cradle again. Oh, okay, well, there you go. Thank you so much for being here, and
Thank you.
I wish you a very happy New Year.
I love you.
Yeah, I
Thank
love you too. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to have Lisa, who has arrived safely. I'm so happy she's here. So stay with us. I've got this important video for you, and we'll be back right after this. Now we're gone.